Welcome back. We have one last game of the night ready to come your way, and it is going to be Barrage versus Team Singularity. I did it before the I got it before the overlay came up. Yes, Barrage versus Team Singularity. I'm actually really excited for this matchup as well, guys, because even though maybe on paper we wouldn't have said this in sort of splits gone by, I genuinely think these two rosters are really exciting, and I think the Barrage roster looks incredible. I think the Singularity roster looks incredible, and I think this is going to be this is my match of the day. This is the one that I've been looking forward to the most out of any games that we've had.
It's insane to see how a lot of the organizations that we had that ended up really low in the standings in the previous seasons that have risen back up to the top. They've gotten rookies, they've gotten mixed talent that was already in the NLC from other teams. And this is honestly looking really good for both, but I really want to focus on Barrage because they showed a completely, on the spot textbook phase. They took advantage of that one first blood and they just completely ran away with it. And honestly, Kevo and Sefe, their bot lane is just, it's literally chef's kiss. They know how to completely snowball an advantage, and it just shows how together they have grown, not just individually, but as a duo.
And I completely agree with Trouble. I think the contrast to that is the bot lane of Singularity with Prosper and Drakta, which Prosper, we heard in the interview, he's feeling really confident with Drakta. He feels like he's up and coming, even though he's been playing for 1.5 years still, but that is still very young competitive compared to some of the other veterans we have got going in this league. And I think that is going to be something that plays a huge part in this game, specifically the supports. We saw how much impact Prosper had on his champion like Rakan when he was out roaming, and we've seen what Seth can do, not only last game, but also last spring split or last summer split with champions like Thresh, with champions like Bard. He loves to be out on the map and having an influence on the gameplay out there.
And one name we haven't even mentioned yet so far is Fury, mid laner for Singularity, because I think he played really well in their first game. Yeah, he was really good, and I want to see how that shows in the draft as well. Are you gonna try and get hold on to that mid pick to try and maybe get a counter going through? I know you're blue side, so you're not gonna have pure last pick to get a counter if you really want it, but they might try and draft more towards enabling him, because I think if you put your eggs in the Fury basket, then he will definitely reward you for that. Now that the bans have gone through here, we do see some jungle picks still being open. There's the Nidalee, we've got Graves still open as well. It's crazy to me though that you have so many junglers being banned, and then there's still so many good junglers to still pick.
That's the thing. It's really just right jungle season, right? And I think it's crazy that this is a takeaway from Debo as well. We saw how well he played with the Nidalee himself, how much influence he had. So Debo, obviously one of the guys I want to highlight as well. He had an immense impact in the early game, just being down there with that bot lane, assisting them, but at the same time getting his resources on the other side of the map. So we're back to that case where it's let's have a look at the junglers because we just have to in this meta, and let's have a look at the bot lane. One thing I want to say in contrast to you with the Fury, he looked amazing on that Lucian, as you pointed out, but Random also played for his team. He picked Set the boxer, not the ninja, into the Lucian of Feberbin himself and played amazing. And I think that says something about Random, because he's usually a control mage player, but this time he took one for the team, and that's really important.
And it tells you how Barrage choose to play when the first
You love to see it. You love to see it.
There it is.
So Barrage first prioritized the bot lane, right? The Kai'Sa Alistar is an extremely powerful lane, but we just saw that it sort of got demolished with the addition of Rakan down there with the Kai'Sa in the previous game for Fnatic, having the Aphelios Thresh combo. Now, don't get me wrong, I do believe that the Aphelios Thresh combo is extremely strong, but if I look at Singularity side, I see very weak engage tools, whilst on the other side, it's the very simple, what we call, what Fox calls dog pile or whatever. It's literally everyone just running in the Hekarims, the Alistars, the Kaisers down in the backline. Something that has completely gone off the radar is the Renekton. It feels like Mumus and Wazer are coming onto second fate right here. They're not really up for grabs. The Na is still in, the Renekton is in, the Camille is in, and I'm just thinking that a lot of these might actually go through because even the mid laners are still open. So you're going to have to pick and choose very wisely what you're going to ban out.
And my eyes now in this, going into the second phase of the draft here, is how do you play out the bot lanes here for Barrage, specifically into Aphelios Thresh when you've picked that Kai'Sa, because that has been a traditional counter. Even in the last game we saw it, it absolutely rolls over Kai'Sa in lane. like, do you have an answer to that? You know, like, you're going to have to do something about it. You can't really just leave them to their own devices, because then they will start struggling. It's like, I think in draft, it all begins here. If you want to pick something, you know, that you can get priority in mid, that you can walk down bot and try and get those dives going on, that you can play more towards the bot side of the map, maybe pick a top laner that's like really, really safe so that you don't have to play towards that. I think it would be a mistake for Barrage to have this Kai'Sa pick and then just leave it hanging versus Philios Thresh.
I love that Victor pick coming in here, because essentially there's not a lot of control mages left, and you need that kind of engage tool as well and wave clear on the side of Singularity. So leaving that counter pick open as well. And Victor specifically, because that Syndra is off the board, Orianna is off the board, so there's really not much left. You can opt into a Zoe if you want to, but this does leave the counter pick up for Mumus instead, and that should give you some extra priority, because as you set yourself trouble, they need some engage tool on the side of Singularity. They don't really have that right now.
Yeah, and I really like the Zoe because it sort of rounds up the composition, right? They're playing poke. They've got the Nidalee, they've got the Aphelios, they've got the hooks running in from the Thresh. One hook equals a Q from Nidalee, a Q from Zoe. Somebody's going to get blown up, somebody's going to TP. I just want to see Singularity right here locking in now, because most likely on the side of Barrage, they are going to go with something like a Bruiser in the top lane. Again, there's plenty of them that are still open and available. They just go with a tank. It's good. It's good disengage and engage for them as well. So I think Set does round up their composition beautifully. But now that there is the possibility of a Renekton or a Na on the other side.
So my biggest question mark is here that, like, with this set as your only engage tool, you need to throw yourself in there. It's not like a long range or on ultimate that you're engaging with. It's literally, I'm throwing myself in. If I get blown up immediately, we just don't have a front line, so I hope we have follow-up. So if that coordination is not there between Singularity, they might have an issue. And my one thing as well, just drawing back, I know we talked about it, but going back to the Aphelios into Kai'Sa matchup, it's not necessarily Kai'Sa just dying, losing out on the 2v2, but it's her constantly being pushed on the turret. So it's like, how are we going to be enabling Prospera with this Thresh? Like, we just saw what Rox could do in the game on Fnatic before when he was opening up the map. We need to see the same for Prospera, or the pick can be just kind of useless, because the Kai'Sa will inevitably still scale.
Foxy, would you like to say something, or are you trolling me?
that's Max screenshotting me and taking the mic, mate. That's not even me. But I will have something to say. I will just say, though, that I think the Hecarim plus lane matchups here, you don't win 2v2 top, you don't win 2v2 mid, and I'm not really sure if you win 3v3 bot either. So it's one of those things that you're going to have to be careful of if you are.
I'm going to recommend that our producer get fired. I'm going to make a formal recommendation to DreamHack that Max is out the window. Anyway, last game of the week here at the NLC. Hitbrain and Orcs is going to take us through it.
It's really nice having Nick Scoundrel for the first week. I don't know who we're going to replace him with, but we'll find out. Hello, and welcome to the Caster Desk. We're getting ready to go into game number 4 of the third day of the NLC. It's been an exciting start to the season, really. We had Fnatic drop a game to Barrage, and now Barrage looking to go up against Singularity here. Can they make it a 2-0 start? That would be an amazing start for them over in Group B.
I mean, I think either team has the opportunity to make it a 2-0 after this one. So I feel like these two, when I look at the group, I think despite Barrage beating Fnatic, people still probably rate them overall higher. You know, it was a bad game. They had a sub.
Yeah,
remains to be seen. I could be completely wrong when I say that, but I think people's expectations still there. But Barrage Singularity, I feel like definitely could be put like on relatively even ground, and this could be a big dictator to see, you know, who is the strongest team outside of Fnatic. Maybe actually the strongest above Fnatic, depending on how the rest of the split goes. So yeah, I think this is a rough first week for Barrage. Honestly, you've faced Fnatic and Singularity, probably two of your biggest opponents in the group, but they handled the first one, and question's going to be, can they handle the second?
Exactly. I mean, like you said, they won that first one. So winning the second one, if you beat the top 2 teams, or like the teams who people think are probably the scariest in your group in the first week, then it feels like the rest of the season, or at least the rest of the games, should be a little bit more smooth and a little bit less nerve-wracking. So it's really on Barrage to make sure they can get this win. But one of these teams will be exiting week 1, getting ahead of myself, entering week 2, 2-0. Question is, who will it be?
There's a little tidbit for you.
Interesting.
So I think branching off from what Foxtrot said before, this could be an uncomfortable game for the Hecarim. There's a lot of areas where Nolty can play around, Debu not so much. And we saw when Hecarim was played a lot at the last EU Masters, one of the ways he was shut down was with early aggression. And if you have priority in your lanes, you can invade him, you can challenge him. He doesn't have a flash to get away. We even saw that the other day, level 1 a Hecarim dying, had no flash available. So I want to see Nolty playing with that pressure, playing with the priority of Zoe affords, playing with the strength in your bot lane 2v2 and the fact that you have a set. I want to see him applying pressure in the levels and making Debu's life difficult. Because I think if this goes to late game, it becomes very much all the eggs in the drag dot basket.
Yeah.
And I think Barrage, Victor scales incredibly well. Kai'Sa scales incredibly well. Hecarim scales really well as a frontliner. And I think it's a lot of strong tools for Barrage and not too many answers for Singularity. So early momentum is critical.
I was watching the mid lane start up. Pretty even footing there to get us going. Prospect looking a bit of a bully on us, F. Has standing on a ward, so they know where he is. They know what he's doing. But Singularity will get control of this bot lane to start off with. The Aphelios and the Fresh. Definitely going to be stronger than a level 1 Alistair Kai'Sa lane. They should just win that level 2 races. Kevin's just kind of picking up what he can, really.
I mean, at the best of times, Alistair's like rough level 1, but this is not the best of time. In terms of level 1 pressure, Aphelios is pretty up there, and Thresh as well is another one who just the plays and the autos is enough to cause the menace. And this is the expectation.
Let's talk a little bit about top lane then, because I feel like if we're going to see some action early, could be in this top side. What do we make of this matchup? Obviously, Renekton we know is very strong at the moment and is pretty heavy bully. How's it going to do into the set?
I mean, I think both of them can go toe-to-toe pretty heavily with each other. With Renekton, it's more about short trades, whereas Set can obviously go a bit longer because he has a lot of innate regen, and also it just stacks up his W. You have to be cautious, though, because if you use your W too early, it's kind of like if Renekton uses his stun, then Wazel's fine to keep fighting. But if he doesn't, then there's that concern, because when you have above 50 Fury, you break shields instantly with your W as Renekton. So, like, that's an example of a good trade from Mummus. You go for a quick trade, you get out, don't get hit by the W. Beautiful, exactly how you want to do it. But if you get caught up in longer trades, if your E gets interrupted by Setsi, that's where you can be in trouble. And then if Set misplays, if he uses his W too early, Renekton can just one-hit it with his empowered W. So yeah. I expect a lot of scrapping, a lot of back and forth between these two. I think the matchup's relatively even. Although I would say Renekton has a bit of an edge.
But yeah, for now, actually seeing an invade by Nolty, topside taking away the Krugs from DB. DB doing his wolves on the other side, so he has no jungle left, although...
Zoning spear.
Yeah, I was like, if Mummus was looking over there, he would have actually seen that spear and had the information on where Nidalee was. But obviously, more focused on the wave and looking behind him.
I mean, I'm not sure he had vision.
We'll go waste some time here now.
I don't think I had vision of that spear from where it was on the map.
Oh, okay.
So it was fine, you know. It's calculated by an ulti. If you're gonna miss in the right direction. Oh, have you seen what they're doing to Zoe, by the way?
Yes, so she can now pick up Gore Drinker. They took away Redemption.
Yeah, I don't care about Gore Drinker. Gore Drinker is not a problem. Shout out to Munchables, LPL caster, who tweeted about that and made me realize. And it is a blessed patch, honestly, because the thing is, I don't mind Gore Drinker, because if Zoe's in range to use Gore Drinker effectively, then Zoe's not really playing well. But the problem with Redemption is she'd get Redemption, she'd either use it mid for great effectiveness, or you could just walk bot lane and throw it down super early. It was so... And I swear, she just always seemed to get it on like one of the first waves.
I don't know, portal jump, Gore Drinker, full health, easy days.
I don't think that's as quite as possible after the nerfs, though.
No, I don't think it's going to be...
You have to be Hecarim at Aatrox to be pulling that off. Or Viego, you know?
Oh, yeah, he's coming out.
Yeah, you can steal Olaf and then Gore Drinker, I guess. In theory. don't really know where I'm going with this. So
yeah, well, I was hoping you were going to go a little bit further there, mate, but you kind of...
And then Nico pretends to be the Olaf, who's actually Viego. You know, it's just, how deep can we go?
I played a really... It was actually probably the funniest game of League of Legends I've had in a long time.
Okay, we got stuff room. So your League of Legends solo queue experiences can wait.
Yeah, we're going to have to. Prospere going very low already. Kevo coming in. They get the flay off from Prospere. Lantern's there. Good hook, actually, by Prospere. Onto the back forces. Kevo to flash. Gravitum's on. Coming up off cooldown fairly soon in his first blood already for Nolte. Gravitum's on multiple members. Kevo low, locked in place. Spear's going to do the damage, and Dragdar gets the second kill. That's 2 for Singularity. One good spear, one good bubble, and this might be a dead Kai'Sa, but not going to get that.
I mean, this is the problem. You go for a play like that on Hecarim, the stronger 2v2 bot lane is on the side of Singularity, and Nidalee a lot more useful than the Hecarim right now. They go for Prosper. Big issue is that he has Aftershock, so actually no Guardian, sorry, but either way, he's able to use that. He's able to soak a ton of damage with his flash, and then they turn on a step with this beautiful hook here onto Kevo, who clearly didn't expect it, thought someone else would tank it, and then Nolte goes in for the kill. Dragdar flashes forward with the Infernum Q to get that root on a both, and actually, you notice Nolte isn't greedy. He could have speared the rooted Kevo and gone for the 3 kills, but he knew that Divi was still a threat, so he goes, let's kill off the Hecarim. Just take the advantage. Take the 2 kills, don't get greedy for 3, and it's a massive lead. You can see the difference between the junglers. 15 CS lead for Nolte already, and then that kill in pocket.
Fantastic start there. Get a kill onto the Nidalee, get a kill on to your Aphelios. Barrage, though, they are going to answer out here. They're going to pick up this Cloud Drake for themselves. Although there are pings coming down, they will be a little bit too slow from Singularity. Nolte's making his way over. Fury's also coming. Actually, hold on. There's a teleport coming down. Dragon is secured, but Dragdar going to chase onto Dibu. He's got the I'll kill you guns.
Again.
That is a kill. Good bubble. Not going to quite hit. Actually gets pulled in by Wazor. That is so well played by Singularity. And they just wipe Barrage.
You know what? That's just that's a chef's kiss. That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Play. Mamas had TP, didn't have to come. I mean, it's a thing that Barrage opted in that play and they weren't prepared for it. And Singularity were prepared for the answer. Dragdar doing a ton of damage here, but again, Prosper with a max range hook onto Kevo. And then here it's just the patience, pulls him into the bubble, waits as long as possible, gets the spear and the ult to connect at the same time. The coordination from Singularity is honestly just stellar so far. Feels like this team's been playing together for a year, not just a couple of months. If that.
Oh, Kevo getting chunked there as well. Moonlight Vigil to follow. Dragdar.
Oh my lord.
Oh no. He's even got all of the chakrams built up, so it's just going to continue to poke away here. Dragdar's been such a nuisance for Barrage's bot lane, picking up some serious plates and
some lane domination.
It's the return of Aphelios. He's back. Did you miss him?
Nope. But I think Dragdar did, because he is looking so good. I mean, there's obviously... Aphelios has power, especially in this matchup, but I'll hold that thought. Seeing a fight.
Yeah. Wazor trying to buy some space, gets knocked back, does have the shield, but it's way too late. CC's just too much, and he goes down. That's
the problem, is Wazor is waiting, because he knows if he W's early, Mummus will just break it with his W. But then he ends up waiting so long that he dies in the stun. It's the difficulty in that matchup when there's extra damage coming in. Mummus able to find that kill and is a fair bit ahead of Wazor, so still a shining light for the side of Barrage. All these about 2,000, and a big thing as well is they did get that dragon earlier, so is a critical point. Would have been pretty rough if they didn't.
Yeah, but look at the items right now. Dragdar has finished up his Gale Force whilst Kevo's sitting on 2 of the 3 components. So much gold on this Aphelios. Chaos Storm's actually used just to clear out the wave by random. Forcing Fury back. Fury has the blue buff, so actually quite okay at the moment. Doesn't really want to reset, and Singularity are just getting control of this top side. They swapped out. They took a lot of plays top side.
1,500. Did you see that, by the way?
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
We're 10 minutes in.
Yeah. A little bit of a bot diff so far. In fairness, rough matchup for Barrage, but I think this is a problem. If you go for a play onto the bot lane on a lane where you already have a disadvantage is super dangerous, especially a jungler like Hecarim who's all in and not very many outs. If you get counter ganked, it's really punishing. And I want to give credit to Nulty for being there, having the presence of mind, having the setup. I think that's the big thing Singularity have had so far this game, is not necessarily individual skill, but the fact that they were on the same page, they're in the right place, they're prepared for whatever Barrage has in mind.
Yeah, it's just been pretty smart stuff here so far. But question is how are they going to keep their foot on the pedal? I feel today's probably been the most decisive day we've had at the NLC. Most of our games have been pretty dominant. There's been glimmers of hopes in all of the games, but it does feel like a lot of our teams have just got control through jungle objectives or through winning the lane, and then just being able to accelerate that into more. Question is, can they keep that up? It looks like Singularity are going to do so. Riftel getting summoned here in the mid as Random takes the spear. Fury just looking to continue to poke out. Charge is going to go down. That's a bunch of plates picked up. First turret blood was already secured on the bottom side of the map by Dragdar. Kevo is getting a bit of free time in the top side to farm up, though. Still pretty significantly behind his counterpart, but Wazor, wherever he goes, he gets bullied, and
no shield
about to continue. Does have the slam back if he needs it, but he's just CC'd for too long. There is no counterplay for him.
I mean, the critical thing was he burned his W, clearing the wave out, and it meant he was vulnerable. That's why the dive decision came in from Seth. Obviously, he can tank it for a while with his ultimate, but Seth's not an easy dive target typically. Cooldown's burn gave an opportunity.
Oh no.
It's his jungle.
Not willing to give that one up. We've got 12 seconds until this Infernal Drake's coming forward, so it looks like everybody is going to reset, get on the map for that one. Ludens has been finished up onto Fury now. See if Kevo's got his Gale Force. He does. Prospero actually interrupting Random's base. That's actually pretty big. Random does have teleport, though.
Well, look, I mean, I guess Barrage aren't in position to contest this, so this is completely fine, but Dragdar's undoubtedly sitting on a lot of gold because he's had his Gale Force for a decent amount of time. He's got, 1,000 in pocket. I wouldn't feel too comfortable about taking a fight now if I was Singularity, but they don't need to. They just get the dragon, get out, and now Dragdar's going for his reset.
Yeah. Expect to see probably the swap towards mid or top side here for Singularity is they've already taken the tower bot side, trying to get a bit more plate gold into Dragdar. And Kevo probably not wanting to be anywhere near this Aphelios at the moment. They may have to do so. Multiple members hanging in this mid side, looking to see if they can set up into Fury, but...
In fairness, there was a 1,500 gold lead between the AD carries, now only 1,000. Kevo's done a good job just farming up by himself. Maintained relatively close in chest, and he's even in levels, so...
Has had a lot of free time top side as well, so... Pretty big stuff for him. Boots have been finished up onto Dragdar, and Reese is coming down. They won't be able to find any more plates here for Singularity, as 10 seconds until that all falls off, and looks like Barrage may be setting a little something up here.
There's no way Dragdar walks up here without Thresh being, right on him.
There you go. Nulty's also about. They may just try and turn this, actually. Nulty getting jumped onto. That's the
nice flash.
Forced. Teleport's coming back in. Moonlight Vigil goes a little bit wide. Momus actually pops the ultimate. Dibby coming in on the flank. Good hook here. Wazor on that back line. Dibby's getting chunked by Dragdar. Dragdar's still untouched at the moment. Shield's pretty big, but Seth's doing a lot of damage as he finally falls down. Gale Force forward by Dragdar. And Barrage almost find the play while Fury gets a kill as well. It's 2 for none in favor of Singularity.
Really good reactions from Nulty to flash away from the Alistair combo there. It could have been extremely rough if he got caught by that, but ultimately Dragdar unchallenged in that fight and able to just decimate. You know what's scarier than an Aphelios with a fully stacked chakram? One that has a dash as well.
We'll have a look at that again.
So it's a pretty interesting fight because there's some misplays, some misnavigation, but Nulty essentially face checks, instantly has to flash before the Q comes in from Seth. And that means Steph's without his combo, Conthra, and Dragdar. The ult gets whiffed, but they're really cautious about stepping up on Dragdar, but Dragdar's also cautious about being flanked by Dibu. So you can see a little bit of an ebb and flow, back and forth. Ultimately, Steph goes in and try and finish off Wazor, but it's not enough. And you see Aphelios dash towards you with all those chakrams spinning around. You flash. There's no hesitation from Kevo there.
And while we're in that replay, mid tower and top tower tier 1s do fall down to the Siege from Singularity, so the gold lead only grows further now. 2 minutes until that Ocean Drake comes up, and I think that's where we expect to see a little bit more action.
But tower essentially just going to be given up. Singularity not in a position to defend it. I think the big spikes I'm looking at Singularity is 2 items for Nulty. You know, obviously the Moonstone stuff for Flowing Water. Yeah. We all know. And for Dragdar, 2 items with the Runans and the Gale Force is really powerful spike. 3 is even better, but... Ooh.
Oh, Mamus. Put to sleep, and this should just be an easy kill. Flashes away to safety, actually, so pretty confident there. Ways, although you are getting 4-man dove. Everything layered on. He goes for the slam back, tries to put the shield up, but he is just CC'd and taken out. Meanwhile, Dragdar in the top lane just farming away, getting even more strong.
Great CC layer in there from Barrage, and Singularity is honestly a bit of a misplay because the bubble, there was time for Fury to hit him with the Paddle Star, which would have done a ton of damage, but Nulty instead went for the close range spear. And I mean, both of those abilities, the Paddle Star and the Nidalee Spear, they're not doing much when you're in melee range. So I think he should have waited. I think the idea was to try and time them like simultaneously, but ultimately means they don't get the kill and they lose a bot lane tower, which is, considering Singularity are ahead, shouldn't really be happening. It was smart moves by Barrage.
So nice little bit of pressure being put down. Barrage are at least finding their opportunities. They're not just rolling over and letting Singularity close this game out here.
I mean, they're very much still in this game. Like, there's a lot of scaling on the composition as well. And they have control over the bot side of the map. Because they've spent so much time pushing those towers, they have good ward control. And it's on Singularity to face check. Vision's super important in this game. When there's skill shots flying out from Zoe and Nidalee, and the potential to face checking an Alistar and Ekton, vision is key.
Really is. Barrage all grouped up here. Can get poked out a little bit as the Rift Tail gets summoned. This is just a bit of control. There's a lot of poke that will be flying over the wall from Singularity. Barrage are first onto the dragon. They're just going to start it up, and Singularity are okay to give this up. They're just going to continue the charge, continue the siege into the base, take himself a tower. I think they're okay with this trade.
Yeah, I mean, it's second dragon for Barrage, so not really too much of a concern in terms of giving it up. They get that tier 2 mid, which is pretty high priority objective, and they'll get another charge off on the inhibitor tower.
Dragdar's got the gun.
Yeah, no, this is risky to go for. They can be flanked here. Prosphere needs to move and offer a lantern to Dragdar.
Tower goes down. Good lantern there by Prosphere. So, open inhibitor mid lane now.
Yeah, well, navigate.
It was risky, but it was calculated by Singularity.
Yeah, I mean, they were in position to protect Dragdar once he took the lantern, and the lantern was there. So, honestly, really positive play, getting those 2 towers. A lot of gold in favor of Singularity. Push their lead from about 2,000 to 3,000. Obviously, do give that dragon up, but a single ocean isn't really going to make an impact for a while. Obviously, as we get towards Soul, we'll see whether that was or was not a factor. But right now, hitting big item spikes for Singularity. We got the combo on Nulty, ton of CDR, ton of healing, ton of AP. We have the Gale Force Runans completed for Dragdar. This is where they can really start to take over the game.
It just feels like Barrage need to find something. I'm questioning what that something is. What is it? What is it they need to do right now?
Kill the next.
Because every time they make a play that I would say is a positive, Singularity seems to just make a play on the other side. This might just be that play. Prosphere already getting a lot thrown onto him, but Dragdar able to get away safely. Dibu goes low. Prosphere takes a fair amount as the Moonlight Vigil spreads. Here comes the turnaround. Wazor slams in. Everybody is low, and Singularity are just blitzing through Barrage. 3 members down, and Singularity lose nobody. As Fury is just collecting flashes and collecting members. Good bubble here might be enough. He shoots it in the wrong direction.
Huge plays coming out from Singularity. Honestly, just a beautiful team fight that's going to land on the Baron. That wasn't a play from Barrage. You had no reason to be fighting there. There was no need. You're not on big item spikes compared to the team. Aphelios is incredibly strong. Nulty's incredibly strong. It was just a poor fight to take, and ultimately they didn't even get good backline access. We'll be able to watch over this one again. And, I mean, here it's Prosper and Nulty who they engage on, particularly Prosper. He doesn't matter. And then Dibu tries to redirect it to drag down the tower, but he's got Flash, he's got Gale Force, he's not getting caught down. And that allows for the re-engage here from Wazel, which is honestly just beautiful. Rough game so far, but this is very much some redemption. And it allows the cleanup into Baron. That was definitely not the play that Barrage needed, and it showed a bit of a lack of patience.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. They go for something, or they find something positive, and Singularity always turn it in their favor. Whether it was that engage where they had the numbers advantage, or the dragon pickup, Singularity always seem to find something to come out on top of.
The thing is, in this game, big item spikes for Singularity, but they only have one dragon. Baron isn't too much of a threat. You got a Kai'Sa who's good at checking it. You got a Hecarim who can ult over the wall and be untargetable. They could have stalled this game out. Barrage very much could have stalled this game out and let their carry scale, but they forced a fight and it's backfired massively. 5,000 now the gold lead, and Singularity, they have a ton of poke for this siege. If Barrage want to defend, it's going to be difficult. And I feel like they might just try and force an engage instead, but if they lose that, they've probably just lost the game.
I think they're very much aware of that as well. Ways are also just pulling members towards the spot side. Singularity are going to rotate over to make sure they take this tower. That'll be the sixth one, for them. Muma's catching the wave in the mid side. Prosper just waiting in the wings, constantly seeing if he can find a little opportunity to keep someone safe, or maybe trying to turn around. It's slow but sure, but Singularity are eking their way further forward. Wazel will get caught out by the gravity field. Dibu and Mumas on that flank. This might be their go button as the bubble's down. Singularity smell that off, though, and they walk away.
Didn't really get too much, all in all, in that push. But, I mean, they want to reset and pick up the dragon. They still have time left on the Baron, but not an awful amount. I think it's still difficult trying to push beyond, and the engage potential Barrage is what's threatening.
Oh, no,
you can get caught out. Oh.
Portal jumps in, gets jumped onto. That is Fury going low. He will die here. He gets a double stopwatch off, and that is as good as it
Guys, gets. I'm buying time. Sometime this week. Nope. Dragdar, he's got his priorities right. He's doing the red buff.
Just ADC things. Singularity, though, they still have this tier 1, so they still have like a point of defense that they can fall back.
I think Singularity can win this 4v5, though.
Yeah, I mean, Dragdar's now turning up with a red buff. Hookah's a little bit wiped by Prosper.
They have no Hecarim mode to get on him as well.
He used it earlier.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big thing. They need to get on Dragdar to make this work.
Well, here they go, and then that's going to be Mumas onto that back. Prosper trying to keep everybody alive. The slam by Wazel. They've got the stun off onto Dragdar, though. Dragdar still kiting away. Puts out a big Moonlight Vigil. Tries to get the snipe off into Mumas. Will get him with a Gravitum and the Infernum. Steph going a little bit low as well. He's trying to make the escape. And Dragdar will just snipe him down. Ramdan on the run. And Dragdar will continue the hunt. Singularity find 3 once again.
Oh my lord, that was beautiful. Honest, I was like, that engage from Barrage was correct. It was 100% correct. They made the right play, but Singularity, just watch Dragdar and watch Prosper. So initially, Alistair comes in with his combo, knocks him up. The stun's going to come out, but a great stopwatch from Dragdar buys him time. Lantern moves him away. He is stunned, but then the hook buys him time to Gale Force out. He gets a ton of damage back in return, and now he's back to full HP, safe on the side. Beautiful snipe on the Renekton as revenge for that engage. Follows up with a kill on Steph as well, the two who are diving him. Honestly, Prosper and Dragdar just played that so well. It was really beautiful to see.
Exceptional stuff there. 25 minutes on the clock. Gold lead. Very big. Very, very big. Infinity Edge, Hurricane, and the Gale Force onto Dragdar. Just the Collector and Gale Force onto Kevo. Random got his Ludens and Sheen versus the Zonyas and the Ludens onto Fury. Nulty got the Staff of Flowing Waters, Zonyas, and the Moonstone.
Oh, it's time again. Observer, show us the Moonstone numbers.
God. He's refusing. He's bored of playing your games, Orcs.
No, he will eventually. place mats. We need these Moonstone numbers. We're dying.
You just woke
here.
him up.
You can't refuse.
The thing is it's always the same with you. You say, show me the number, and then it shows you the number, you go, oh, I've seen better. Every time. So
show me the numbers, please.
Yeah,
show me the numbers, please.
Might have to hold that as the Singularity are looking to set something up. Long-range bubble actually will cut them off a little bit, but it's going to be quite hard for Singularity to close any further. There you go.
I've seen better.
Yeah, there it is. That wasn't him shaking the camera. That was him throwing his mouse across the room and standing up and saying he quits.
Yeah, anyone's wanting to observe, I think we're going to need a new one. I don't think ours is cut out to listen to my requests anymore.
If you want to be an observer, email us at I think I can deal with orcs constantly asking for stupid things at NLC.com.
That's a very long email.
Yeah. It's tailored. Feels like the game's taking a little bit of a slower pace here. Chilling out a little bit. And actually, for once, Barrage are going to be able to take this tower. Finally getting the tier 1 down in the mid side. We bring up the graph as the tower falls, but it's still very, very far ahead. They might actually go for a second here. Singularity
Recalls are coming in. There's double
Hook's
TP on Singularity, by the way, and they are both coming in.
Here comes the fight, Fury and Wazor looking for it. Moonlight Vigil's going to connect onto multiple members. Everyone is locked down. Wazor looking for that slam back as he does throw it onto one. Pulls two in with a face breaker. Bubble goes wide. Seth just zoning Dragdar off, but that is not going to be enough as Nulty secures the kill. Fury gets a good bubble off onto the Renekton. Pulled in for the moment as Dragdar is able to get himself a killing spree. A double kill picked up as well. Bubble once again, not going to quite hit, but 3 members of Barrage fall. And Singularity, they're going to turn this into a Baron.
Yeah. Oh, prospect fishing for more, but I mean, ultimately, that wasn't the cleanest engage seen from Singularity. A little bit forced there, and Wazor ended up not really ulting towards, but it worked. They're far enough ahead that they still managed to make it work. And then Divu at the end, you should have just gotten out. If you needed ult away, that's fine. You probably wouldn't have got Baron, but he essentially just gave his life away for free. I don't think there was any way you were turning that. And now it's going from a 7k gold lead. They're going to get the Baron. It's going to be like an 8k, 9k gold lead. They are substantially far ahead, and another Baron to work with. We'll get that replay. So you can see good Moonlight Vigil to try and lock them up. And Wazor wants to ult Divu in, but gets knocked away and is forced to ult him out. Steph's banned a lot of times, so it's not the cleanest. A couple of skill shots missed, but they're just so far ahead. There's so much defense appeal. And Barrage have just lost the fight from the start to the back and away. Fury with a really nice Sleepy Trouble bubble just guarantees they get another kill. And then here, Divu just didn't need to go in there. You could have just gotten out, potentially waited and tried to steal the Baron. I think he kind of saw a window, but ultimately just ends up costing them. And Singularity now pushing towards mid. No Nexus Tower to defend that one.
Yeah, this could just actually be that final siege. Barrage coming in on the flank, seeing if they can set up. Inhibitor will crumble. Singularity playing this a little bit slow and cool. They know the dragon's up. Just going to chill it out here.
I think the big thing is they've shown that they aren't impatient. Coming off the back of that Fnatic game, we saw a team who are massively far ahead in control. A little bit of impatience that ended up costing them. And I think Singularity are very much aware if they overstep, Dragdar's flashless, he gets caught out and dies, they could very easily throw this game. Barrage could win from that position, so they aren't taking any risks with this one. They know that Barrage are a serious competitor, having already beaten Fnatic, so slow and steady, dot the I's, cross the T's, not overstepping in any area, and just patiently working this one through.
Oh. Seth just lost half his health there to the Paddle Star.
A lot of
Wazor working the super in Baron empowered super minions up in his mid lane. Seth is just getting chunked consistently here. Dibu trying to see if he can charge in, but he's unable to do. Seth actually pops on. Mummus comes in to the flank. There's Kervo trying to slide in.
Goes down.
He's actually got himself 1,000 gold shut down, but Fury's still untouched. Prospect's keeping everyone alive. Fury's doing so much work here. as Nolty jumps over the wall to safety. Wazel still alive at the moment. Big bubble, double kill for Fury, and Random's the only damage dealer left. Fury flashes over the wall, and this should just be the game for Singularity now. There was a glimmer. There was a moment where it looked like Barrage had done it.
What a hook again.
But just like that, it is turned, and Singularity are able to crack open the base and close out the game. Barrage, it was an honorable end. It was an honorable fight. But ultimately, it was not enough. Singularity find their second win here at the NLC.
And honestly, I think that fight, more than anything, demonstrated the goal difference. Because Barrage, it was a little messy initially, but they got Dragdar. They cut down the Aphelios. And it looked like it could have been going well, but Fury was so fed on this Zoe, able to turn things around, and the whole team performing well. Got to give credit to Prosper with that lantern, Nidalee as well, over the wall. I think this wasn't like, Singularity, it wasn't like Barrage necessarily played bad or anything. I think Singularity just played really good in this one. I think Barrage showed towards the end they were still capable of making it competitive, but I think the team play coming out from Singularity was the best we have seen so far in the NLC this split. I think that coordination was really on point. We've definitely seen some good pockets of coordination between teams, but it felt like all players were on the same page there. And particularly the bot lane, I think, of Dragdar and Prosper. If you told me they've been playing again together for a couple of years, I'd believe you, because they were so in sync with each other.
Yeah, honestly, really, really good stuff there from Singularity, able to get that win over Barrage, over the Fnatic Slayers. I think we're in for a very, very spicy group too. I really do. I think
we just need Fnatic.
Haven't quite found their form yet. Singularity looking good. Barrage are looking good. We got three very distinct teams who stand out to me.
We just need Fnatic to beat Singularity now, so it goes full circle.
Yeah, that is actually the dream. I want it to be as competitive as possible. But honestly, good stuff there for Singularity. They end 2-0 after the first week of the NLC. Now we're going to pass it over to Excoundrel and the rest of the desk to break that game down. So over to you, mate.
Yeah, it was a good win. Absolutely, massively so. Singularity looked in sync, and I fully agree with Orcs 100%.
What was that?
Is that my cue?
I don't know. I thought Trump wanted to talk. I'm too tired.
Right,
I thought
I
Trump
just
wanted
wanted to say
talk,
literally the same. I wanted to say that I basically really agree with Orcs. We saw how, the Kai'Sa train just never started for everyone to get on board. We had a conversation while we were watching the game. We're like, the Gale Force is there, the Collector is there, the Hurricane is there, the full dive composition is there, but they just could never make it work because Singularity would shut it down every single time. I feel like Wazer played this game so on point. He was there for the engage. He was there for the disengage. He was there to pick the correct target at the correct time to throw it out. And it feels like we talked about the Barrage as a holistic composition that wanted to dive you. You take one piece of the puzzle out and then the rest can't work. And with Wazer being on the set right there, it just completely broke Barrage, and they just could never get on with it. So that was massive for Singularity.
Yeah, and I think it's not just the Kai'Sa who wasn't able to jump in. We described this team comp as a bit of a dogpile comp. And then the Hecarim as well, I don't even know if he finished 2 items by the end of the game. Like, yeah, and Triforce was his mythic as well. Now, there's nothing wrong with Triforce, and especially like if you're solo queue Hecarim, Triforce is great. And to be honest, Triforce is probably the best item that you can go as a mythic on Hecarim. But just Triforce by itself, when you're jumping in, you're not going to stay alive for very long. And we saw that multiple times in the game. That top lane dive that they tried to do as well a bit later on into the game too, where he's just, if you can't survive for long enough to create, not necessarily create a distraction, but to buy time for your team in the backline, then you better hope that you can kill them before they kill you. And if you can't do that either, your champion very, very quickly loses all of its use. And I just think all in all, it's kind of just, it just wasn't there for the Barrage team.
Yeah, and I think that I don't think that Barrage got completely outclassed. I think Orcs was right with what he said, that if you had told me these guys had played together for a year, I would believe you, because they are just that coordinated with their play. And even though with that Singularity was so good and coordinated, Barrage still had like glimmers of hope, like the cross maps where they get kills topside. They knew that they couldn't play towards the Aphelios, so they kept getting kills along Waysword. That kind of kept them somewhat relevant into the game. With still some good level League of Legends coming out here, it still made the game close and it still gave you some sort of hope. But in the end, the coordination, the team play, and the individual skill, especially from Drakthor, just pulled through some Singularity.
Yeah, I didn't really ever feel like Singularity were out of control. I mean, there were some moments where it looked like Barrage were clawing some gold back on the map. They had made that push through the bot lane that gained them a load of global gold, that put that gold lead to within about 3k. But realistically, it just felt like Singularity were in the driving seat the entire time. Before we go to the interview, we have a drawing board, and I'm honestly, my words are just completely useless here. I'm guessing it's Professor Gulborg, so Professor Gulborg, please do things.
Yes, class once again is ready, so stay seated here. This time we're going to be talking about priority around objectives, why you need it, what's important about it, and how it can't go wrong. Let's talk about the minimap and the state of it. As you can see, while we play the clip here, the red side of Barrage are getting ready to start their little Drake. Meanwhile though, if we pause this clip right here, you can see that this is probably going to take them some time. So while you take a look at the minimap instead, you can see that Sori right now is probably going to have to push priority, and Aphelios will have a free roam towards up the dragon just because no one is contesting him in lane. Essentially, this means that you will be collapsed on, and this is bad if you're Barrage. But why I choose this is because I want to highlight that they are ready to capitalize that on Singularity. They are ready to punish it. So as we play it out, you can see that Zoe already in the mid lane now, getting ready to get in here. And honestly, there's no reason for Seth to be standing off guard here, because this is not a scenario where you turn, this is a scenario where you run. Beautiful plays coming out from Singularity. They play around their priority, they play around the TP, and Waze are just here with the little style points of the ultimate, putting him back into the team. Yes, Barrage gets the Drake, but you start the snowball that is Aphelios, and you know what? That wasn't even Singularity starting that. That was Barrage opting into that, and Singularity punishing.
Professor Gulborg, I'm going to give you a solid.
That was great.
You know, exactly. I'm going to give you like a 5 out of 10 for things used, but actually for explanation and overall comprehension of the play, 10 out of 10, Professor Gulborg. 10 out of 10. Big 10 coming out here. It's I'm a big fan. I'm going to employ you for more Professor Gulborg segments in the future. Okay, I actually have Dragdar standing by for an interview, so I'm going to jump into a chat with him. I don't want to keep him hanging around forever. I'm sure he doesn't want to listen to us chat rubbish on the desk. Dragdar, I hope you're doing well, mate. Congratulations, obviously, Singularity off to an amazing start. And just to satisfy Foxdrop here, is the reason that you're winning because you've got 3 guys from the UK?
That is exactly the reason. I was going to say that myself. Glad you brought it up.
Sorry, I've just got my son just going crazy in the background. Yes, obviously you and Prosper seem to be gelling really well together. Is it something that happened like quite naturally? Had you played with Prosper a bit before, or is it just something that when you sort of started working together on Singularity, you just felt like it was clicking instantly?
Yeah, no, I actually started during with him a little bit in solo queue before like I had any intentions of like playing with him or trialing anything like that. And the split before, I actually played with his brother Artorias. And that's how I got to end up playing with him. Just from the duos, discussions, like even beyond playing League of Legends, I think we get on in a way that's like our thought processes are quite similar. And I just knew from then, like the way we discussed the game and things like that, it was like, it was set for me to want to play with him. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys look really clean together as well. In terms of how you're approaching this split, Singularity obviously looking really strong. Do you think that you were expecting to do this well coming in? Were you really confident in your roster, or were you kind of a bit more reserved about what you thought was going to happen throughout the split?
For me personally, like outside of the team, just thinking about it in isolation, I've not exactly had the like most decorated career. The complete opposite, I'd say. So personally, I didn't have the most confidence, but coming in with the guys, doing scrims and all the hard work we've been putting in, and having played with them all and knowing how reliable each individual player is and how talented they are, like I've never felt more confident, in playing competitive games than I am now. So yeah, I think we're a really good team.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to see how you guys kind of develop throughout the split. Are any of you thinking about European Masters? Is that even in your headspace right now? Or is that something that is kind of like a goalpost that you're not willing to put in sight just yet?
I mean, you ask any player the question that in an ERL and they're always, they might tell you whatever, they might say anything, but deep down inside, everyone's always thinking about E-Masters if you're playing in an ERL. Like, it's the end goal eventually, like all the LEC scout from there. So, of course it's in all of our minds, but currently it's just, we want to play good. Like, we want to play well every game. That's about it. Like, that's my goal personally.
Yeah, take it game by game, and then if you get to the European Masters because you've played well every single game, that's the end result, right? That's the end result. Honestly, and it's for me personally, it's really nice to see a team with some UK talent doing really well as well. I think we don't get represented that much in our own European regional league sometimes, so it's really awesome to see you guys doing well. I hope we get to see this success continue throughout the remainder of the NLC split. I think you've made this group really competitive as well. Like, sometimes when you come into these ERLs, you think, oh, XL Fnatic, blah, 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 right? But actually, I genuinely feel that we've got a really competitive split that's going to be lined up this year. And I think you're part of the reason that's going to kind of make that even more competitive. So I'm just really excited to see how you guys do. I think your roster's looking really good right now. I think hopefully you'll go from strength to strength. So Dragdar, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. And hopefully chat to you soon.
Yeah, same.
See, there we go. Gulborg confirmed UK greater than Denmark when it comes
no, I'll cut you off there, okay? Every UK out there, take a look at the Danish organization Singularity, how they build a better UK roster than you guys were able to.
I can't even compete. Right, let's have a look at some of the highlights from today. Starting off with that Nordavind versus Tricked game. And this was, we thought this was going to be a bit of a spicy one, but it was a very, very dominant performance from Tricked.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead if you want to, fuck it up. This was your lost prediction. Talk it out.
One of my many lost predictions. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the perfect 0-4, which we all know is what everyone's aiming for. All you nerds out there getting good predictions, suckers. But I'm thinking this whole representation today. It's really been quite a fun week of NLC because I think we have a much more competitive league this split than perhaps we've had in the past. I think as well that maybe the top of the top teams right here, when you look at like Fnatic and BTXL, like Iskandar was saying in the interview, Singularity now is someone that you can start talking about as well. I mean, there are a few teams here that I think have really had quite solid games, and I can't wait to see them get put up against each other to really determine like who is the king of king. I'm not such a. I've been on NLC too much, mate. Where's the legacy? Who have the kings of the NLC?
A little brag there, mate. I've just been on NLC too.
Yeah, you know me. Got announced last week.
I don't have to take this from the like
of
you guys, okay? This is beneath me.
Yeah, but I actually think that Foxy is bringing a really good point with this. Like, even if you watch last split, we had teams like that split Singularity, which was absolutely horrible, and we had that split M&M with a specific mid laner who is not designed to be a mid laner that also didn't go very well. We don't have that this split. Everyone can be competitive in their own way, and it doesn't feel like that they're just rolling over and dying, where you're like, oh, M&M is playing today, everyone does not predict them because that's just dumb. like we actually have a competitive league now, and this week, as you said, Foxy, it's been extremely entertaining to watch. I've been enjoying myself. The level of play, micro, macro we see, even from teams that are not winning, are showing promise.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've had the first week now, so we can kind of get to grips with where we believe teams to be in terms of respective power level. Plenty of more matchups to go, and as we know, things can swing wildly in the NLC. But let's take a look at these standings. Let me starting with Group A, and you will see right now Tricked and XL topping the leaderboard. Dusty and Nordavind down at 0-2 with Gods and Granite 1-1 apiece here.
Honestly, it's a little bit surprising, specifically for Nordavind, to be down 0-2. But I'll take it from Febvin, where he said it's better to lose at the start than lose at the end. So I'm hoping that this is what Dusty and Nordavind are doing. They're getting the int out now at the start of the tournament, just so they can start building on what they have, because I do really believe that both of these two teams' foundations are extremely strong.
To be fair for Nordavind, they did play an academy team and the only Danish team in the group, so it's kind of rough for them in the beginning.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Let's take a look at Group B. So look at the other side.
Away from that one. This guy, honestly.
Yeah,
Who does he think he is? Yeah, well,
all right.
Sorry, go on.
No, Foxy, you're going to say something 10 times more interesting than me, so.
Mate, I don't think that's a safe bet right there. The competition we've seen in NLC, you know, I said it before. Goodboy backed me up. Thanks for that, mate. But look at that. Look how many teams we've got tied here at 1-1. Like even Fnatic up there. It's like what's going on at this point? It's I really think that any of these teams, like the top two, even the top three in this group, is not really decided yet. Sure, you have some favorites right now, but as the season progresses, like from week one, I think it's going to be a really, really entertaining group to watch.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there, Foxy. And I think, honestly, Singularity, I was not expecting to be 2-0 in the first week, especially so, you know, given that we kind of knew that they were going up against Fnatic. That's always going to be a tough matchup. But Singularity, for me, looking like definitely one of the favorites with the way that they're playing right now. But the most important thing, and I think something that we've learned from the previous NLC splits, consistency is key. So we just want to make sure that we see the consistency from these teams week in, week out. And speaking of week in, week out, we have another week of the NLC coming back towards you next week. The games will be as follows on our first day on Tuesday. Cova versus Riddle to start things off. M&M versus Barrage following that. Fnatic versus Singularity is our third game of the night on Tuesday. And then we have Granite versus Dusty. Quite clearly, Fnatic versus Singularity is going to be a spicy one given the form of Singularity and how good Fnatic looked in their game versus Cova today. So make sure you come and tune in, same time, same place, next Tuesday. But for now, from myself, Ghoulbog, Trouble and Foxy, as well as Hiprain and Orcs, we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thanks, Max.
Där kommer Shockwave på Pacers, ja! Bakom porukka nippu!
Welcome to the top 5 champions you should not pick.
Bloodshot eyes, another ocean opens wide. Our love is sick but still alive. Then all our hearts would radiate and melt the sadness we create. Only then could we survive. Let's turn singing this love is all around us. This love is all around us. Staring idly at the sky, love is almost past us by, still we watch it fade away. And all our prospects wearing thin, we don't know where to begin, or where we might have gone astray. We crave, we strive to feel singing.